Hey guys, welcome to 10 in 10, the conversation starter show where we list our top 10 in 10 minutes. Today we have a special episode where we've got Anthony from Interworldwide back on the show with us. How you doing, Anthony?
Tim Owen, the boys, good to hear from you. Looking forward to this one. You picked a category that's like right up my alley, man. I don't need any sort of free notes, no nothing. I can go right into this.
Nice, yeah, that's what we thought. As soon as we're going to talk about our top 5 most hated clubs, yeah, we knew we needed to.
The first name on the list was Anthony's got to be on this. Anthony's got to be on this, mate.
Sweet. All right, mate. Well, I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to start off with number 5 for me. Now, this is kind of difficult, 4 and 5, but I think I'm going to have to go. Number 5 spot is going to go to UEFA Barcelona. Okay, I'm going to chuck them at number 5. Now, I wouldn't say I outright hate them, but I think just the amount of success they've had, and because everyone's a fan of them, it's the biggest bandwagon team in the last 10 years or so. Barcelona kind of sits there. I do love Messi, but besides Messi, I've never really liked him. So Barcelona's going to sit number 5 for me.
Yeah, mate. Barca actually didn't make my list, and I had them kind of thereabouts, but there was just a period for about 10 years there where they were just magic to watch. And I watched them, and I couldn't help but watch them. Their football was out of control good. Back when David Villa and those boys were just Iniesta, Xavi, it was just so perfect. And so it was one of those guilty pleasures almost watching it. It's like, this is how football should be played. So, but my number 5 probably hits home for you boys more than I, but I've got Juve. Juve is my number 5. Yeah. Well, it's because, mate, I'm more.
No, it's all good. I'm glad to hear someone who doesn't have a real reason to hate Juve still chuck Juve in their top 5. That's good. I resonate with that.
Mate, mine's grown stronger over the last maybe 3 years that Tim's been all in on Inter. But yeah, it's kind of, especially they're now more bandwagon because of Ronaldo. Yeah. But for a long time, realistically, they didn't affect me. I'm a Liverpool fan. They didn't really affect me. They weren't winning Champions Leagues. They're in Italy. It's kind of like, whatever. Yeah. But the last few years, I've seen the appeal for the hate. Yeah. So, so they're my number 5.
Nice one. Very good selections, gentlemen. For me, this was very hard to separate a couple in between that little bracket of 4, 5, and 6. But for me, my 5th most hated club of all time is Paris Saint-Germain, PSG. For basically purely rivalry reasons, being an Italian and growing up an Azzurri fan, from a footballing standpoint, I hate everything to do with France. From the 98 World Cup to Euro 2000, 2006, Euro 2008, and everything that's going to come onwards from now on in. France and Italy, you'd think they want some time apart with each other, but they don't. They're just going to be up each other's ass every step of the way on an international level. And to me, that trickles down to club level as well. You throw into the account that PSG is a club that has pretty much bought their success on the field. They play in a league where they've had very little competition, although ironically, that word "little" might actually mean something at the end of this season. But yeah, for me, PSG, and the icing on top of the already triple stack of cake on top of that was Mauro Icardi at the end of the last season and a half. Right over there. So on a personal level, I can confidently say with my chest, I've got reasons to hate PSG. So they're an easy inclusion for me.
Man, and it doesn't look like changing for the next maybe 5 years either. Italy's looking up and coming, and France is looking just incredible as well. So you're gonna have that same rivalry for at least the next 5 years, buddy.
100.
All right, mate. Now number 4 for me, this is a tight. Again, one of my honorable mentions is going to be the other side of the city, but number 4 for me is going to be Real Madrid. I don't like him.
All right.
I don't like him. Atletico Madrid's very close. They're going to be an honorable mention. Another one for you. I just don't like him for some reason. But yeah, Real Madrid, I mean, they're kind of like the team. I still will watch them because they've got so many good players all the time. And I do love some of the players that have played there for sure. But just as a club, they're so pretentiously they're the greatest club of all time in terms of trophies and everything. That's undeniable. But obviously that comes with a bit of pretentious attitude, a bit of arrogance. They're the ultimate glamour club. Yeah, so I mean, there's something beautiful about watching Real Madrid play with the all white strips and the Galacticos and all that kind of stuff. But I don't like Real Madrid. So
my number 4, I've gone another team that's bought their way in, Man City. Man City.
I like it.
I know. I like it. Any word that has Manchester in it, I'm not gonna lie. But I just think the amount, the way they did it, Chelsea kind of bought their way in to an extent, but Man City took it on steroids. They took it to that next level of, the dude came in and it's I'm going to drop everything and just buy a team and win in the next 5 years. And they did. Like, all credit to them. And I actually like the way they play. And I don't dislike a lot of their players specifically. I've liked a lot of their players, but just to come in and kind of unashamedly pay that much, overpay players, inflate the market for everyone.
Yeah.
And just come in without giving a crap and saying, this is what we're doing. And it's worked for them, but I'm not going to reward it.
So, fair enough.
Number 4.
Very fair, man. I hope this doesn't look like I'm piggybacking off you, Owen, but my number 4 club on this list is Manchester City, and I've got an even older reason to say it. You know, I'm happy to say it a little bit more on this channel. I don't think I've ever gone in this direction on my Interworldwide channel, but, you know, at 5 years old, the first jersey I ever received was a Manchester United jersey from a family member who came back. And, you know, from there on in, it was just all United for me, because as you guys would understand, being Aussies as well, the first exposure you have as a young person is the EPL. And that just got worse and worse. I shouldn't say worse and worse, but you know what I mean. We're very, very, very one-dimensional when it comes to international football in Australia. It's the EPL or bust. And just being exposed to that through the years, it is a level of entertainment at the same time. And watching Manchester City come out of their deep roots of relegation and buy their way into the city, into the league all once again. I'm not going to lie, that last minute title win for Aguero, not only is it just iconic on that day, that moment right there, you can pinpoint as the propelling moment forward for their club. If that doesn't happen, I can almost guarantee you they are not at the magnitude where they are right now. That's a special moment in sport history. It's one of those moments that carries momentum forever.
Definitely.
But besides the obvious fact that they're bullying the team that I support in England completely out of the city and out of the league, I don't need to justify it to you. I'll Manchester City in at number 4.
Fair enough. All right. Before we get to the business end, number 3 to 1 here. Honorable mentions for me. I'm going to say Atletico Madrid's up there. I just don't like the way they play. I don't like Suarez. I just don't like them. I don't like their colours. I don't like their strips. I don't like anything about them. Right? Nothing.
Wow.
Mate, I'll do a couple, because I got one that's really left to centre. Melbourne Victory. I'm bringing some A-League in here, mate.
I was going to mention an A-League club as well. I was that close to mentioning one.
I'm a Central Coast Mariner fan. I shouldn't like Sydney FC because of that, but at the same time, I'm a New South Welshman, so I still love Sydney. But Victory, they got that same kind of pretentiousness that Real has. They're the same kind of version of that, and hate it. So, Melbourne Victory. Piss off. So I'm bringing some A-League into that section, and then I'd also have Chelsea as that other. They didn't make my list because they're kind of like but there's just a lot of Chelsea fans that kind of piss me off. You know, one I like. Shout out Aaron, how you doing, buddy? But
Aaron's I think Arsenal's another one for me where I don't hate them, but I don't like them at all. And then randomly, I don't like Stoke City. Every time I see them play, they're dirty and they annoy me. It's the red and white stripes. Something about it just annoys me. I don't know what it is.
Fair enough.
But,
So we're doing honourable mentions. Is that right?
Yeah. Honourable mentions, mate.
All right, cool. Western Sydney Wanderers, definitely 100%. Now, this is a little bit contradictory because, like, I'm a Western Sydney boy through. I'm a Western Sydney boy through and through, and like for every avenue of my life besides football, I will say with my chest, I'm from Western Sydney. I don't like anybody from the inner suburbs or North Shore and stuff like that, just as a joke, but. Because I started following Sydney FC and I started going to the games in the first season where they had Dwight York as their marquee signing, my uncle and my dad.
My St. Coast Mariners, I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, we did do that. Yeah, we've had the rub of the green pretty much since the A-League was invented. I'm going to admit that right there. Then obviously,
where he cost more than our entire team, but that's okay.
So did Alessandro Del Piero, and that was the icing on the cake as well. When he came down from there as an Azzurri fan and an Azzurri faithful, like that was incredible. All aboard with the not a fan. And for the whole Wanderers purpose, it was just funny to see a team rise up out of Western Sydney, have everyone from Western Sydney jump on the bandwagon and then leave within 1 year. It's the most Western Sydney thing in the world to do, to go along with the hype and then just jump off straight away. I thought it was comical. Couple other
MacArthur out that way too, buddy.
Yeah, exactly right, man. I've actually been to a couple of their games already, and I'm watching. I'm like, damn, they play good football. This is gonna be an
plus the
interesting
cowbells.
one to see how it goes.
I've jumped on MacArthur's little bandwagon, man. I like it, the vibe. I like the cowbells there. I love their striker.
It's awesome, bro. I only live about 10 minutes from that stadium.
I thought you'd be closer to MacArthur then.
Yeah, I'll be at a lot more MacArthur games than I am Sydney FC games. That's for sure. I like the shout Arsenal, Tim. Growing up with that Arsenal rivalry and having a lot of Arsenal fans, we're entering the end of the video where fan and youth rivalry is going to really come into play for who I hate the most. But Arsenal was always a club where I had friends that went for them in high school. Man United went toe to toe with them, so they were an easy shout. And my other honourable mention that just missed out on the top 5 was UEFA Barcelona. For everything you said, Tim, I don't need to say anything else. I grew up watching Champions League where like there's levels of getting decisions from the refs, and then there's the decisions that they got from the refs, and like that was something very special. So Barcelona, last honourable mention.
Yeah, 100%. All right,
top 3, mate.
Number 3. Let's get into the business end here. I'm going to go one you've already said, Anthony. It is PSG. I can't flip and stand them. I hate them. So it's the mix of they're just like spoilt rich boys. That's what they remind me of. They're spoilt brats. I can't stand Neymar. I can't stand Mbappe. He's getting a bit like he's a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong, but just his attitude, his diving, and everything. Can't stand that. And then Icardi going there was the icing on the cake. Yeah, of course. And yeah, I just really don't like them. They're just arrogant, pretentious. I can't stand them. But I mean, same thing. I do like to watch them sometimes because it's a big game when they play. If it's like like against Bayern the other night, I watched. But yeah, can't stand them.
Mate, my number 3, I've got Arsenal. For pretty much every reason you said, Anthony, is I grew up and I just had a couple of mates that went for them. And they just pissed me off. And the mates were like, it was one of those things, every time Arsenal signed a player, they were like, yeah, we'll win a league. This is amazing. We've got the best player. We've got the best team. We got Arsene Wenger. We're going to win it. And I'm just like, mate, you're not. Okay. And so there was just a little kind of back and forth between a few friends growing up and a few boys I played footy with. So Arsenal have made higher than some others people on my list, but for me, Arsenal just pissed me off. Yeah. So,
they'd probably stand a chance at cracking my top 5 had they been consistently relevant on the pitch in the last decade. But to be honest, that's what happens when your rivals fade away from you, bro.
That's it, mate. But even then, it's like over those last 10 years, people are still like, every time they'd sign someone, like, yeah, this is our year. We're winning. Say that. Shout out to some of my mates on the chat who love Arsenal. You boys know who you are, but you piss me off.
Exactly. So we're at number 3, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. So the top 3 sides that I hate, obviously, like a lot of history as to why I don't like them. So number 3 coming in hot, it's your main boys. It's Liverpool. Dude, my best mate is Greek. My second best mate is Greek. With being Greek also comes with being a Liverpool fan. I went to school in the suburb of Bankstown in Sydney, where you had an entire crew of 20 to 25 Macedonians in the corner of every year group that supported Liverpool. The sort of warfare grew beyond football club. It's what I like to call polite racism. Football gives you an excuse to go and act out to your friends in a way as well. And that sort of rivalry will never, ever leave me, man. But I'm always first to put my hand up and say when a team performs so well and beautifully that it's hard to hate. And that's an example, like you sort of said, Owen, with the Barcelona team under Guardiola, when they had all those amazing players, they're impossible to hate. But this Liverpool team under Klopp, bar this season, obviously, were almost impossible to hate. They're my third most hated team of all time. And I was watching them going, this is some good shit. If you're someone who loves the beautiful game and really appreciates the beautiful game, you have to put your hand up there. But going back to the context of the video, I hate Liverpool. I hate all their fans. I hate the way they behave during a game, before a game, after game. It's a sickness. And yeah, it makes it hard to be friends with a lot of my friends. But I love them. It's all good.
All right, mate. That leads in perfectly. Now, same thing for us. Like growing up watching a lot of EPL, Liverpool was my team because of Harry Kewell as a young kid. He was my favorite player. So I love Liverpool growing up. So for me, number 2 hated team is Man United. I can't stand them. Okay, it's just the 90s. They were so dominant and they won everything and they were frustrating. They always scored a goal in the last in the 90.
You're talking about UEFA Lona, whatever you call them.
Yeah,
Fergie time is real, and Fergie time is
the amount of stress it's caused in my life watching Manchester United come back and win a game at the last minute is just I can't stand them. I mean, they're harder to hate now because they're just not that good anymore. They've gotten better this year, but I mean, and I used to love David Beckham as a player. They had some good players, but I just can't stand Manchester United. Everything about them makes me sick. Yeah,
I agree. My number 2 is PSG.
Nice, I like it.
Just Tim mentioned it, but rarely does a team personify the city more than PSG does Paris. Of that kind of arrogance, I'm the best. It's also young and thriving and everything like that. But it's those players, and you know who they are.
Yeah.
Tim mentioned it. They just annoy me. I went so hard for Bayern Munich on the weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the weekend. Sorry,
Like a couple of days ago.
But that's the kind of vibe for me is when a team. Sorry, my kids are just going out there.
All good.
When a team goes is versing someone, and I'm going so hard for the other team, I know I hate that team.
Yeah.
And that was me going for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So PSG, you're number 2.
Nice one, man. So, Tim, remind me again, how much Italian do you have in you, or none at all?
Italian in how much do I have?
Yeah. Heritage.
I've got my grandmother's Italian last name, so probably a 16th or something. Not much.
So this is what separates me from you in this position number here. See, you see them as annoying, as the annoying cousins, as they're annoying, but they don't matter. See, to me, AC Milan is my second most hated team in the world. I can't get past that, and this is I've got so many cousins, friends that have gone for AC Milan, and our fans have been at their fans' throats throughout every year of every generation, and we've particularly come to despise each other even more in the last decade or so, because we've both been trash, and that brings out the worst in fans when they're insecure and their ego is right at the front of their brain and they're not thinking well properly. So this whole warfare between Inter and Milan, I think it's actually become more of a war of the fans rather than a war of the clubs in the last maybe 10 years. But for me, I've been in so many conflicts with Milan fans that there's no point in even turning back now.
Yeah. See, I think for me, because one of my best friends is a Milan fan, but he's a very respectful fan. He's not as good a douchebag. So it hasn't been quite as heated for me. And I still think if Milan was playing PSG in the Champions League, I'd be still going for Milan. It's kind of, they've been they do this year particularly, because they've been really cocking their heads up a lot with winning the league for a bit there. They've been pretty unbearable, but they're an honourable mention. I'll give them an honourable mention. All right, number one though. This should be unanimous decision for I think Anthony and I, but by far the team that I hate the most, particularly, it's just really hit home last year, but Juventus, just disgusting club. All right, just the fact they've cheated in the past. They still claim the Scudetto. The fans will still claim the Scudetto. They didn't win. They cheated to win, should I say? It's just their players. It's the fact that they win these games they shouldn't win. They play like crap and they win a game. It's the fact that it's been 9 years of dominance. It's just so much. I just can't stand Juventus. Yeah, more than anything else in the world, just about. So, I hate their kits as well. They look like lemon, especially they look like prisoners. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Mate, my number one, and Tim, you and I have made a lot of videos, buddy. Never have I had an easier number one than this list. Manchester flipping United, buddy. Hate them. Yeah, everything about it. I agree. Growing up as a Liverpool fan from about 4 years old, Man United in the 90s, everything Man United's magic. They were, yeah. But I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Anthony, I think, Tim, you mentioned douchebag fans. Persona, you type that into Google, man, you would find Manchester United, okay?
They're the worst, bro. They are the worst, man.
They are the worst, buddy. So I just hate everything about Manchester United. I hate their stupid red colours, which I know we're red too. I don't get it. There's no logic to this, mate. There is just me hating on Manchester United. Yeah. And Old Trafford can go, piss off, mate. Anfield's better. So I'm almost not able to form a sentence right now. That's how much I just dislike. He's going to need a cigarette after this episode. Oh, sorry, too excited. That's it. Manchester United, piss off. Yeah. Stay irrelevant. Yeah.
Well, I was about to say, man, you should probably do an uncut version of this video so we can all speak our real mind, and I can really say what's on my mind for my number one pick, but I'll give you the G-rated version. Juventus is the most despicable, repulsive organization in the Northern Hemisphere, bro. From the fact that their president not only sits on the board of directors who controls corporations that directly fund the league, to the Calciopoli scandal that almost rocked Italian football, and financially they still haven't recovered from the match fixing, the audio tapes, their disgusting personnel, and their fans who are actually properly mentally disordered, bro. Like, I don't say that very often, and I work in the field of mental illness, but their fans have got some sort of different neurological, there's something going on there, and I can't be around them. And, you know, at the end of the day, there's an old saying for Inter fans where you go, you know, if you shake hands with a Milan supporter, you wash your hands. If you shake hands with a Juventus supporter, you count your fingers as quick as possible, because that just basically sums up everything they are as a club. Even right now, bro, the hairs are actually starting to stand up on my wrists, so I'm going to stop talking, but I hate them so much.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, like basically, like honestly, check out the Inter Worldwide channel if this season goes well for Inter, because I'm repressing about 95% energy here right now. And if it all does go the way it's meant to go this season, it'll be an explosion.
Yeah, mate, it's looking bloody good for you guys. That's for
It
sure.
is looking great. Yeah, Anthony, I was going to say, we are riding very high at the moment, aren't we? We're sailing.
We are, and like it's a testament to like the backroom organization and stuff. In order to succeed at top level sports, success has to stem from the top. These fairy tale stories only happen once every 100 years for a reason. And when you look at Inter, you know, you have to put your ego aside as an Inter fan to say this, but we adapted a Juventus model of success in the last 2 years. We went straight for their director of football, straight for the heart. We went straight for their director of football and just took him, because there was nothing that they could do. They were on bad terms. Then he brings in the most successful head coach that he has employed as a director as well. The dominoes are just going to fall after that. It's more so just a matter of time. So, you know, you want to win accolades like a big club, you need to behave like a big club.
Yeah, and on that, also just not firing Conte when like they could have fired him a few times, but sticking with him, and you're now seeing the fruits of that.
Yeah, I was 100% every time you speak on. Every time you speak on Inter Worldwide about keeping Conte, I'm like, I can't believe how much fans want to get rid of him. You're like, it doesn't make sense.
We're kind of going through that as a Liverpool fan right now, with people wanting to get rid of Klopp because he's having an off season through injuries and whatever, and also just a kind of sophomore slump after winning a championship. But when I see those comments, I'm like, how are you saying get rid of him?
Doesn't make sense.
Like Stevie Gerrard, who is my favorite player of all time, but he's coached Rangers, and I love Rangers, but I don't think he hasn't proven what Klopp's proven. And
how many times in the last few years in many leagues has that worked out? Going for the club legend in order to try and save face on psychological level, but it never worked. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, doesn't work. I know.
So, but yeah, not getting rid of Conte when they really could have, and people were demanding it. That's a testament. That's really, if you had got rid of him for any coach, you wouldn't be winning this league right now.
No way. So.
Clubs like us at the moment, we have this luxury of having proven winners as our managers. And in a COVID-stricken season where inconsistency is every day, nobody better is available than what you've already got, pretty much.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Yeah, and it's like it's the same thing with the fans that complain about having like an old squad at Inter. You're like if you look at the starting 11, I think it's like an average age is like 27, 26. Yeah. You're like, that's not an old squad. You know, there's a few old.
We've got a very well put together squad, man. So I'll just tell people, don't pay too much attention to the headlines that come directly out of Italy and are translated in English, man, because most of the time they're not worth listening to.
Yeah, you guys like 14 points in front of something we're speaking from right now. So 12.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't happen by accident. No, and you're not going to change a squad that's 12 points in front of with 9 games to go.
Yeah. So that's good, man.
But thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
It was great, guys. Fantastic. Always a pleasure to be on.
No, it's been great fun, mate. All right, we'll look forward to seeing a celebration video when we win the title very soon. Skedator's coming our way. And,
I'll stay quiet for two more match days, man. 2 more match days and I'll explode.
Yeah, I agree. So if you don't already follow Anthony at Inter Worldwide, make sure you follow him. It's great content, just not only for Inter, but also Serie A content. It's just great.
We'll chuck a link in our description.
Yeah, we'll chuck a link in there for sure. Sounds good. All right. Thanks,
boys.
Anthony. Cheers, buddy. Chat soon, bro.
Cheers, bro.
Happy holidays.
Cheers. Thank you.
See you, man.